Well, hello, friends and family of LifeVantage. This is Julie White from Mansfield, Pennsylvania, and I'm very excited that you're able to be on our team Zoom tonight. We have a lovely day here in Pennsylvania. It's just the weather is just absolutely perfect. And I know everyone's from different places, so we're all having different experiences, but I'm really super excited tonight to introduce our guests to you. And I have Dave and Joanne Matteson. And Dave and Joanne, they live in Colorado. And some of you who are local to where I live probably remember meeting Joanne because she actually came and did a Super Saturday from us. Her mother lives up near Buffalo, New York. So she was visiting her mother and came to help us, which we were all so grateful for. And she did just a fantastic job at helping us. And so I'm thrilled to have them on here tonight. It's just an honor and privilege. They're Pro 8's in LifeVantage. They've been in LifeVantage since the very beginning. I remember Joanne was telling me what her ID number is, and it was, Joanne, what is your ID number?
48.
48. So that's like amazing. And they had done network marketing, I think it was like 20 years ago, and I'm going to let them fill in the details. And they just didn't have any success. But then about 12 years ago, they were talked back into it, and now they're having great success with LifeVantage. So they're involved in a group called Building Depth, and I encouraged everyone to go on the Building Depth Facebook group to learn more. And so they're going to share more about that tonight, and then we're going to take some time at the end for Q&A. So have your notebooks ready because this is really a big deal. This Building Depth group is rapidly growing, and they're having a lot of success. I know some of you have seen some of the videos by Sherry Hullenbach. She is in that group. And so I'm just going to turn it over to you, Dave and Joanne, and whatever you'd like to share, if you want to share a little more of your background or your story, or if you just want to get into Building Depth, I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you go ahead and lead out here. So thanks again so much. It's an honor to have you guys on here. I just love you guys. You're just amazing leaders. And so thanks for taking out the time to share with us tonight.
Well, thank you for inviting us. We so appreciate all that you do because you're just a wealth of knowledge and you're an amazing leader yourself. So let me tell you, every time I'm around you, I am just so honored and so impressed and like, oh my gosh, can I just ride around in your pocket? Because you know what's happening with this business. And I'm sure all of your team realizes that as well. And so you're very, very fortunate to have access to Julie, as I'm sure you know. So we just appreciate the opportunity to share with you guys for a few minutes tonight. Do you want me to keep talking?
Sure, keep going. I figure this is a pretty good, if I were there, Julie, I know Jerry and I would be out fixing the fence. So I think we got the easy side of the deal. We're in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But so, I mean, you did a great job telling our story, and yeah, going from failed network marketers to now being able to realize success with LifeVantage, I hope gives anybody that ever listens to this right now or down the road on the replay of the recording, we hope that it gives you encouragement that you too can have success, because this opportunity today is far better than what it was back in 2009 when we heard about it and got the ID number of 48. Let me tell you that. So I think our stock is just a small indication of the direction that things are going very quickly, right? Because it's quickly moving upward. And I know based on our numbers over the last few months, things are happening. So if you've been on the fence or just kind of percolating, getting yourself ready to get ready, or whatever you've been doing, if you're not pedal to the metal speed right now, you need to get yourself there, because the worst thing that would ever happen, in my opinion, would be to be involved and then miss it. Because believe it or not, you can be involved in LifeVantage and still miss it, because things are moving and shaking and people are moving forward. Success is happening. The meetings we've been having lately, the increase of people that have heard about this, that are being reintroduced to it and reinvited is crazy. Or family members that are showing up at meetings and they're, you know, my sister takes that little yellow pill, or my mom, or my this, or my that. That we are seeing increasing exponentially. And so we want to make sure that we've got ourselves positioned to really take a look at our list and to be really very deliberate and very quick about contacting people and just getting this information in their hands and let people make a decision for themselves. And so a couple years ago, we reached out to Marcel because our reintroduction into network marketing was with Tyler and Marcel with another company back in 2005. And at that time, they educated us on really the key components of what it takes to have success in network marketing. And that explained a whole lot as to why we were not successful in the past. And so I can tell you from 2005 until here we are, 2018, Marcel's message has never changed. So hear me when I say that. His message has never changed for 13 years that we've known him. So think about this. What does it take to have success in network marketing? That's a question, right? Doesn't it take something that is simple and duplicatable and consistent and easy for everybody to understand? Because I don't know about you, but I know over the last 9 years with the evolution, let's just say, and the growth and repositioning of LifeVantage, there's been some changes in leadership at the executive level and different things that have happened. And as we've grown, sometimes confusion has come into the field force. And whenever we've seen confusion happen, do I show the ABC primetime? Don't I show the ABC primetime? Do I do three-way calls? Don't I do three-way calls? You know, whatever it is, when there's confusion, people do nothing because they don't want to make a mistake, right? So for us, a couple years ago, we reached out to Marcel and said, we just want help. We need to get to the next level. We've been stagnant at Pro 7 long enough, and we just want to do what it takes to grow our business and grow ourselves to be better leaders and to advance in the company. And so we got plugged into the Building Depth group, and over the last 2 years, just 2 years, this whole group of people we've grown immensely ourselves. Our teams have grown, and the whole program has grown to be documented and simple. I can tell you, if you haven't heard, how many of you here, and there's a lot of people without your cameras on, but how many of you here are familiar with Building Depth or have gotten on any of the calls? Oh, okay, just a couple of you. Okay, so just to clarify any confusion about what it is not an exclusive group. It is open to everyone. And the leadership that originally started participating with it, with Marcel, we were all people that pursued Marcel aggressively to have him help us at a very close level. Okay, Marcel didn't call us up and say, hey, we want to start this thing. We were looking for mentorship, deeper mentorship. And so I'm going to encourage you in that vein that if you're looking for deeper mentorship, let your leadership know, because they don't have time to call everybody and say, can I help you? How can I help you? Let them know what you're looking for and how they can help you. But that was how it started, and the message started exactly the same as it is today in building depth in our business and what that does to benefit ourselves. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to turn over to Dave, and we can kind of toggle back and forth, being sensitive to the time. But building depth is merely steps and a system to ensure that your business is, number one, easy and duplicatable and doesn't change at all. The message stays the same. And for you to go down in all of your legs as your business grows, that you work at the bottom of every leg, building those relationships all the way down, building depth. So when you get somebody in, you help them get their person in, and now you're going to work with this person and help them get their person in. Now you're going to work with this person and help them get their person. You get the idea. So you're building those relationships all the way to the bottom of your leg. So why? Why do we teach that? There's a number of reasons why. Number one is, what if something happens with anybody up the line that they've got to step aside? Somebody gets sick, somebody dies, this, that, whatever. They go on a mission in the mission field for a year. If you don't have relationships at the bottom of that organization, the whole thing may be a house of cards and come crumbling down. So you want to create those relationships to create stability in your business, because I don't know about you, but we, and I'm sure you too, wanted to build your business once and not have to keep building it over and over and over and over again, right? We teach building passive residual income. Well, if your volume keeps going away, that's not a good thing. So we want to build our business so the volume doesn't go away, that it's consistent. And so I'm going to turn it over to Dave, and he's going to expound more on how this whole building depth organization has grown. And there's new leadership that have identified themselves and said, hey, I want to really link arms with you guys and participate, which is always an option. And the events that we have and the calls we have that everyone can plug into. And now we've got tools that he'll show you. Because this is an amazing duplicatable system. It just simplifies everything. And that's what I love about it.
Let me tell a little bit of a tale. Joe and I started in this industry back when we were 25 years old and getting married. And we were fortunate to get into the industry with who is today, and still today, the biggest income earner this industry has ever seen. His name was Dexter Yeager. And so we had close connection with him. We weren't personally enrolled with him, but we had very, very close connection with him. So we tried that venture for about 12 years. Never saw more than a $500 bill come in for a commission on a monthly basis. So we felt we failed through that process. When we re-engaged into the industry, which is about a dozen years later, that's when we came in to meet Marcel. And the difference between what Marcel was bringing to the table was he was bringing the new style of business and some of these components that are corporately driven, not only from a compensation, but also from a corporate side. But he came to the same principles of this is a people business. So he and I related right quick when we first started to launch into the business with him, because we had been taught by the same system of how you build relationships in depth creates your security. We can all build as wide as we want, and we can keep enrolling people ourselves. But if we don't help them find people, we're not going to see the long-term success that we all desire. Because we know the biggest fear that people have in network marketing. It's not the time, it's not the money, it's not my doctor excuse. None of that has anything to do with the factor. The core deep problem is people don't believe that they're going to have people follow them. And if you can't get people to enroll with you or follow you or step forward and now duplicate through your efforts, then all you've done is create yourself another job. And nobody wants another job. And that's why so many people in our industry see a high failure rate, because they don't look at it from that perspective. You have to be able to attract people into the business. So I don't care, and nobody cares how you attract people in, okay? We will give examples when we're teaching all over the country. We will give examples of how we actually invite people. But I can tell you this, Every one of them is always different. The person you're talking to is hearing it different than you're even preaching it. So I don't care how you bring people to the table, whether it's through social media or whether it's standing in front of a Walmart or anywhere in between. It does not matter. Okay. The difference is once they get in, what then? And for a long time, we've had the blueprint, but all we've done with this building depth process is we just kind of boiled that down to make it even simpler. It's the same process, but we gave people a stepping program that everyone can adhere to. There's not a lot of detail that has to come from it. The key is what Joanne explained, is having the ability to help people get in front of their people. And the faster you do that, the less fallout that you will have. And that's why we have done what we've always done. So when Marcel called us and asked us, hey, I'm thinking about having a barbecue at my place this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, do you think you could come because of what, we were taught with Dexter Yeager and what Marcel and Joanne and I had done for years, okay, and created success together? Do you think we can explain that and teach that? Do you have some leaders that would be up for that? We're like, sure. And that's how this whole ball started a rolling, because if you keep people on the same path, they're going to find their own way on and off that path. But if you know that there's always that straight rail that the train is on, you're not worried about looking down the track. Once you get her going, you don't have to look down the track. Once you get your teams moving in the right direction and you know they're duplicating this process all the way through, you don't have to look farther than that. The key is having the relationships far enough in your organization in depth that you build that security alignment, and that is done only through relationship. You have to develop the relationship. And I don't care if it's a relationship that you have with somebody through Instagram and you've never met them or not. But any stretch, anything you do, you have to get into their database, okay? So if the hardest thing for people is to gather people and put them in front of you, as long as we can help them through that process, we're going to get in front of their people before they even realize that we're building their organization. We're just helping them through that message. And then you're going to apply all those same understandings that you and I have always used in the blueprint, where we're simply going to continue to talk and elevate the message in multiple ways through three-way calls, etc. So when you look at this is just a simple little workbook. It's like $12 or something crazy. But in it, okay, you're not going to be able to see it very well, but I'm going to read some of the factors, okay? The first step is this. Actually, I could pull up. Oh, I didn't open it. That's all right.
Sure, you can share your screen if you'd like. And actually, I can read it when you hold it up.
Okay. I should have opened up a PowerPoint. Actually, now that I think about it, I have a screen like that. Okay, 15 presentations a month. That's a starting point. Julie, being an elite distributor, Julie herself knows that she did more than 15 presentations a month when she went to the elite level, okay? So, Julie, you did notice that I was wearing my Hawaii shirt just for you, honey.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and who are these crazy folks, guys? Who are those crazy folks right there? Okay, awesome. We were in Kansas City when we got our first shipment of Axio, and that was our first sip of Axio. Can you tell it works?
I love that.
Yeah. You don't get to see, you don't get to make friends in network marketing. You lose friends. You've heard that before, right? Yeah, what a crazy thought. Okay, the next thing is you need to attend all the events. Why? Not because we sell the tickets. The company sells the tickets. But if you attend every event, you're now going to become a better promoter to your people, to get your people there. Because you and I know what happens when you get people to events. Their life changes, right? And now you want to duplicate that. So if they then are promoting to their team, that's what you want. You don't want another job, do you? Right? The next factor is, let's do exactly what we say we're going to do. If we do what we say we're going to do, that means when we agree to have a meeting, then we actually do have a meeting. We don't cancel it. Where I grew up, Joanne and I grew up in Buffalo, New York. Like you guys, if you guys are in the great white north, There was many days where there were snow days, and we still went out that evening and did our meetings. Or, heavens to Murgatroyd, the kids got a chance to stay home and have a snow day, but you and I still went to work, didn't we? Okay? Do what you say you're going to do. So when you're helping somebody, you're going to help somebody. What does that mean? Well, when you get into someone's home and you're working for somebody else that invited you into the home, and you're the third party person, you're going to be the one that actually helps promote the next event, promotes the next webinar, the Zoom call, the leadership calls, etc. You're going to be one that's promoting it, but you're also going to be the one that's going to be following up with that person, because the person that you just showed an hour before this, now you're over at their next door neighbor's house, they don't know what to do. You have to guide them through that process, okay? We have over 3,500 names in our phones. Why? Because when we go and meet people with people, we get their contact card so we can help them. What do you think? If you have made a connection with somebody and you're someone that's created success, don't you think they're feeling pretty excited from the fact that they've got someone of success that's willing to come help them? That's you. That's what they want. So they're willing to give you their number, and now you be the person that becomes that influencer for them, okay? How about we stay in control of our business? If we stay in control of our business, that's not because we're in management mode. That's because we are now in the position where we have the ability to follow through with that person, teach, train, mentor, promote people to the functions, right? The Zoom calls, promote everybody to the next step, because the more you educate people, the more they understand, the more they can replicate for themselves, right? So if you're interested in creating that kind of environment, look at everything you do and ask yourself the question, if I do this, is it duplicatable? If it's not duplicatable, then don't do it. I was taught a long time ago, people wanted to throw stuff in newspaper, put ads in newspaper. You want to get rich, call me first. Okay, now if you got somebody in because they read that, and they called you, and you sat down with them, you showed them the opportunity, now what's he thinking he's going to do to create his wealth? He's going to put an ad in the same paper. Do you want to get rich? Don't call him, call me. Can you see how this goes? That's not duplicatable, because your paper is going to be filled with, call me if you want to get rich, right? And now how do they decide? And then how do you decide? Do you pull your ad out? No, that's not how it works, okay? So remember, whatever you do, is it duplicatable? And now we're going to put ourselves in a position where we're going to do it over and 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 over. And we're not going to stop doing it until we're done. Raise your hand or raise your thumb or push a 1 through the chat line if you've ever sponsored anybody. Raise your hand. Send a 1 down. Okay, then you have no excuse for the rest of your life, because if you had brought one person in, if you continue that process over and over and over and over, you're going to continually sponsor people, are you not? Exactly. Okay, so it's not whether it's not working for you as you get older in the business. No, it has everything to do with, are you out doing what is required? Well, are you doing 15 presentations a month? Well, we don't tell people that they need to do more, but I can tell you we've done more than 15 presentations a month ever since we started in this business, okay? Even when we turned our phone off because we had tragedy in our life, like we've all had, okay? That opportunity is in your hands. It's not in your boss's, and it's not in your upline, okay? So this workbook continues to sprawl through, which you can see at a later time, how we do that presentation, telling your story, tell the company story, and tell them how to get paid. If we get them to a position where they're now in a training mode, we teach them the invite, we teach them to present, we teach them to take part of the baton into their business, but you're staying in control of it the whole way through. Are we going to help them go through the obstacles, the follow up and follow through? Absolutely. And then what we do is we build a chart in the back for us to all be accountable to. So there you are at the top, and we're going to find 5 new people. When we find those 5 new people, we're going to help them find their person in depth. And we're going to help their person in depth. And we're going to find that person's person in depth. Okay? And this is a chart that we go through on a weekly basis with our organizations. This is all in pencil because you'll sponsor them this week and next week they're gone, right? We've all seen it, right? They didn't have the same aspirations that you and I did, okay? That's a great tracking system for you. And then it continues to grow even to the point of now you're into your leadership. Now you're a leadership, and now you start to identify with some of the values that happens when you stack person on top of person on top of person, and those 5 people are just there. They're just auto shipping, but they're not actively promoting. They're not actively attending, but they got you to this guy 5 in depth. That's the guy you're working with, and now he's a pro 7, right? Okay, so that process is a simple process to teach people, and if we do that over and over and over again, people start to realize, okay, there's nothing to this. We just have to do the work. Okay. Go ahead. You want to talk about the tariff sheet?
Sure. So throughout the last 2 years, what has evolved in the building depth is that workbook for everyone to have the same simple system at hand so the message doesn't ever get confused. And then we also made a presentation tear-off pad. And so this goes through all the key components that you need to cover for an effective presentation. So tell your story, the company story, and how you get paid. So who is our company and what are we all about? Biohacking and nutrigenomics. We go through the industry of network marketing and clarify and educate people, because a lot of people are confused about what it's all about, or if they've heard about it or not heard about it, or their brother's uncle's cousin, you know, didn't make any money, so now nobody makes money. All those things you can talk about there. Talk about timing, talk about our products, about linear versus leveraged income, talk about all the different product categories we have right now. And then on the back, it goes through the incomes and our elite bonus, and there's an area to write notes on there to give people homework and links. And so we put these in pads of 15 so that ideally you can track on the back of who you're doing a meeting for and the date, and get rid of at least 1 pad a month. Okay, so these are available. I know we've got some we can get in your hands if you'd like. They're also available on the Building Depth Eventbrite link online. You can buy them. And also, we've made PowerPoint presentations. So oftentimes, if we're doing Zoom presentations around the world, we just share our screen and we go through this exact message that we have on slides that you can have access to. So the message is always the same. And we literally are seeing people see a presentation, and 10 minutes later, they take their piece of paper that is, you know, got things scribbled on it and filled in, and they can go tell the message to someone else. How great is that if your business can duplicate within 10 minutes, right? That's what we want, is for someone to have it be so simple that they feel comfortable sharing immediately after they've heard it. Is it going to be perfect? No. Are any of us perfect at any point in time? No. But that's okay, because if we're excited and we're passionate and we can instill the belief in people that we've got our hands on something special, they're not going to want to miss it. They're going to want to come along. And so also in the back of the workbook are links, because the first and the third Tuesday of every month, we have a Building Depth Zoom call that everybody is welcome to join in and participate in. And that's at 9 Mountain Time. First and third Tuesday of every month without fail. And then once a quarter, we have a Building Depth event in St. George. And so our next one is September 7th and 8th, whatever that Friday, Saturday is. It's a Friday evening and all day Saturday event. And there's over 20 different elites that are talking at this event. So you get all kinds of personalities and all kinds of education there, different than Elite Academy. And so at Elite Academy on Saturday night, we're having a building depth meeting that everyone is welcome to come to. And that's at 7 o'clock. Can you look that link up? And we also have a building depth Facebook group. So if you've not yet joined that group, put in a request to join the Facebook group. And on there, all of the original leadership elites have gone through a tear-off presentation and been recorded. We've walked through the workbook and all of the pages of that to explain it, and we've all told our story. So for someone that's really, really, really uncomfortable or brand new, they can say, oh, my guy is a heating and air conditioning engineer. They might relate to Dave. Pull up his presentation and just hit play. So we're trying to take away every excuse that anyone would possibly have, because there's 13 presentations from Marcel to Sherry to myself to Dave to Russell and Tracy Blanche to Clinton Boyle. So all different age ranges, all different experience levels and professions that you can access on that Facebook group. And there, Dave, I think, is going to put up the information for the Saturday night meeting at Elite Academy that you guys all should come to. Come check it out and hear more. And that's building depth in a nutshell. And I can tell you, we've had people in our organization that started in building depth at around $30,000 and now is an Elite Pro 7 with 2 Pro 6s below him and a bunch of other people, and over $130,000 in volume in the last year and a half, because the system is simple and consistent and there's no confusion. So it's very duplicatable. So with that, we're done. Dave's typing that in, but I don't know, Julie, if what your next thing is to open up for questions or wrap it up or what?
Okay, well, that was fantastic. I love just how simple and duplicatable it is. And that, I think, is what's gotten everyone's attention. And, I just keep hearing all the success stories of how well, everybody's doing and how they're growing and how great the events are. So I wanted everyone just to, be aware of it and to be able to, check out these resources. So now I would like to have just a couple minutes, if it's okay with you guys, for, anybody that might have a question. They can type it in the chat box, or, they can unmute themselves and ask a question. Let me see here. Christy says, thank you. And so again, we can get some of the resources on the Facebook group. And did you say we can purchase these booklets from you guys?
We do have them. And so if people want, we can throw some of them in our suitcase and bring them out to Anaheim. I don't know how many we can bring, or they are available on the Building Depth link on Eventbrite.
On Eventbrite?
Yes.
Okay, is that what you're putting up now?
No, I'm putting up the Building Depth Saturday night meeting.
Okay, the Saturday night meeting. Okay, I see that. Okay, great. And then
you can buy them in quantities. Obviously, it doesn't make sense just because of freight kind of scenario.
Right.
Usually we get rid of 90% of them all, or 95% of them all at the Building Depth meetings. We have them there in St. George. But you can go to the Eventbrite and go to Building Depth and see it. And there's a few different packages. What you're probably going to want to do, Julie, is just get a consensus from everybody and add everybody up and buy 50 of these and 50 of those kind of thing. It's just going to be easier and quicker. And the pricing is all different. They're $18 for a tear-off pad, and they're $12 for a workbook. But obviously, if you buy more of them, there's quantity discounts. The thing about the tear-off pad is not only does it have in the front of it, it has all of those components that you have to brush on when you're talking about biohacking through nutrigenomics, the timing line, all of where the industry is and where the industry is going and what it's at and what it's expected to be. And then on the back, it's got our income disclosure. It's got our compensation plan, the elite bonus, and a place to write on. Okay, so that tear-off sheet, there's 15 sheets of paper in that pad.
Okay.
Okay, so So what we do is we just teach people on the back, on the cardboard, when you do the presentation, put the names, the date and the name of the person there and a little bit about them. So you can track, 15 people's names down here. And now you've got an accountability system.
Right.
Okay?
So yeah, that's great. And would you be able to email me the PowerPoint presentation that you were talking about? Okay.
Yes,
great.
we can. The great thing about the tear-off pad is for people that can get on bunny trails, it helps avoid that, which I'm guilty of myself. But you literally, I've done presentations in less than 10 minutes with this, and however long you have. So you can get into as much detail or as little detail as time allows based on who it is you're talking to and how much time they've got for your meeting. And that's great because you get all the key components covered very quickly if necessary.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been so informative, and I just really appreciate you guys sharing tonight. So I think our time is up now, but it's been wonderful seeing you, and thanks so much. I'm going to be, looking more into this and jumping on some of those calls. So
Awesome.
Thanks so much, everyone, for joining our Zoom.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
We'll
Such a
see you
pleasure
in
to see you all.
Anaheim.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye. I'll send
Bye,
you.
Dave. Goodbye, Joanne. Thank you.